Hi there, this is Alison from Freddie Loves Crochet, and today I'm bringing you a pattern tutorial to make this 3D flower granny square. So we make the flower first using popcorn stitches and some scallop stitches, and then we convert it into a square, into using sort of a regular granny square stitch once you get around the back. If you're unsure how to do a regular granny square stitch, I will link my video for granny squares that I've got as well, which will help when you get to the background bit. But for now, this is the flower first, and then you'll put it into the granny square. I used Aran or worsted weight yarn, number 4 yarn, with a 6mm hook for this, but you can use any hook and yarn that you prefer. I used 3 different colours, but again, how many different colours you use is up to you, depending on your colour scheme. They look great in blankets, these. It could be really good as a bag as well. So they're really versatile, really unusual little square. So here we go. To begin, you're going to use the centre of the flower colour, which I'm using this lemon colour. And you're going to make a magic circle or a magic loop. If you don't know how to make them, or you don't like making them, you can just chain 4 and join to make a little ring, and then work all the same stitches into that ring. So for a magic circle, I have my tail end to the left hand side, the opposite way if you're left-handed. Get your long end and wrap it over so that it crosses here. Go to the back of your fingers, put your hook through the front loop, pick up the long end of the loop and pull it through. And then take your fingers out, pick up your yarn, your working yarn, and then make some chains. So we're going to start with a chain of 3 for this. I am using primarily US terms, but I will also reference UK terms as well. So you need to make sure all the time that if you're right-handed, your tail end and the circle are on these 2 strands are on the left, and if you are left-handed, they'd be the other way around. So for your magic circle, making sure that you crochet all the first round of stitches over both of those 2 strands. So to start off, you're going to place 15 double crochets into the magic circle. So we've already got a chain 3 there, and that chain 3 classes as 1 double crochet, which is a treble crochet in the UK. So in total, by the time you've done 15 in here, you will have 16 stitches, because that original chain 3 classes as one of those stitches. I haven't actually been keeping count because I was talking, so I'll just do a quick count. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's my original chain, so that's 11. So I need to get to 16. 12, 13, 14, 15, and one more is 16. So when you've done that, whether it's in a magic circle or whether it's into a chain 4 loop or ring, you're going to then close off your circle. So for a magic circle, you're going to pull your tail end, and then you need to slip stitch to close off this circle. So you're going to find the top of the original chain 3 that you did, which is here. Put in your hook in, because that chain 3, you don't forget, counts as a stitch. So putting your hook in, I try and pick up 2 loops, if you see there, or 2 strands of the chain there rather than just 1. I think it stops it from pulling. Put your yarn over and slip stitch, so pull through everything just to join that together. Tighten up that circle as well. So that's round 1. On to round 2. So I forgot to say that for the end of round 1, you will fasten off your yarn and get a new colour for round 2. So I am using this lavender colour. So to join, you join however you prefer. I like to make a slip knot and put it on my hook, and insert my hook into any stitch. So we're going to add some popcorn stitches to this round. So we've got 16 stitches here, and we're going to add 8 popcorns, which means that we're going to leave a space. We're going to leave a stitch in between each popcorn, and then we're going to chain as well in between each popcorn. So getting however you like to join, starting in any stitch that you prefer, hook in, and then you're going to start. The beginning popcorn stitch is different from the other ones because we start with the chain of 3, and that chain 3 counts as our first post, our first stitch in our popcorn. So for the first popcorn, it's going to be 4 double crochets, which is the treble in the UK, all into the same place. So I've done 1 and 2, all in the same place, 3, and then the 4th one in there. So you end up with this sort of loads of stitches all in one. Now to make it into a popcorn stitch, you're going to withdraw your hook from the loop and then go back to that original chain of 3 and place your hook into the top of the chain, of that chain, so in the 3rd chain. Now, like I did before with joining, I like to pick up 2 of the strands of the chain. Only just one there. There's a second one there. I like to pick up 2 strands. Can you see that there? Just because if you only pick up one, sometimes it can pull and it can become it can make a bit of a hole. So if you can, the chain consists of 3 strands. If you can pick up 2 of the 3, that would it would help it look a bit neater. So from there, I'm going to place my hook back into the first loop that I took off, and then I'm just going to pull one through the other like that, and it sort of joins the front of those stitches to the back and creates this 3D look. So we're going to chain 3 in between, and then I'm going to do all that again, and you'll be able to see again what to do. So like I said before, we've got 16 stitches, but we're only doing 8 popcorns evenly around. So we're going to ignore and skip that stitch, and now we're going for this one. We've done a chain 3 here in between as well. So hook into that one. Good. This time, because we haven't got a starting chain of 3, we're just going to place 5 double crochets, treble crochet in the UK, all in the same place. And then one more. Okay, so you should have 5 stitches. Give myself some more yarn there. You should have 5 stitches in the same stitch of the first round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull up a loop so it's a bit bigger, take your hook out, and then go all the way back to the first one. Now, it can be tricky sometimes to work out which is your first stitch and which is the chain, so count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one must have been the first one that I did. I'm going to place my hook in there and then pick up the big loop that I'd taken it out of before, pull it so it's the size it should be for the hook, and then pull that through like that, and then chain 3. Do that again. So like I said, you're going to skip the next stitch and you're going to aim in for this one now, and so it's 5 double crochets in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So once again, hook out, count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was my first one there. Hook in and pick up the loop that's I took my hook out of, pull it tight, and then just pull that through. Chain 3 in between. So what you're going to do now is go all the way around, skipping a stitch, so skipping that one and going into there, go all the way around until you've got 8 popcorns, and I will meet you at the end of round 2. So once you've got all 8 of your popcorns made, you're going to do a final chain 3, And then you're just going to slip stitch somewhere at the back of that original popcorn that you did. You don't need to be too specific, as long as you're just attaching it on the back of the popcorn somewhere, so that you have that chain 3 secured, because these chain 3s are going to form where we work the next round. So trim your yarn and pull through, make a chain and just pull it through, and then we're going to start the next round, which is round 3. So this is for your sort of the outer petals of the flower now. I'm going for white with this one. Again, you can join however you prefer. I like to join with a slip knot on my hook. And where you're going to join is any one of these chain 3 spaces. Okay, so you're just going to put your hook into there. Just try and get my right end here. I should be sewing in these ends as I go. Oh, I can't get it. There we go. Then from there, you're going to make, if whether you've joined using a chain or a slip stitch or whatever, from here you're going to make 2 single crochets. So if you join with a slip knot, you can just start to crochet. So 1 and 2 single crochets, which is a double crochet in the UK. And then once you've done these 2, you're going to go to this skipped stitch below. So you're going to make a double crochet, a treble in the UK, into this skipped stitch that's below. Now, a little tip for this is that if you leave this chain up here, it's often really easy to catch it up within the stitches, which is what would happen there. So the trick is to tuck it out of the way, and then when you're aiming for this skipped stitch from the first round, you've got that tucked out the way, so that when you complete the stitch, you then pull it back up again, and this hasn't then been caught up in that, because that's often what can happen, and it causes a bit of bother then. So 2 singles, 1 long double in the skip stitch, and 2 singles around the chain again, so working in those chain spaces. And this sets us up basically to be able to do the petals. So this row sets up the petals, and the next row we actually make the petals. So you then skip the popcorn and you go straight into the next chain space and do the same again. 2 singles, tuck it out of the way, and then yarn over the hook ready for a double, and then into that skipped stitch from the round below. Can't find it. There it is. And then make a longer, these are like spike stitches really, that because we're working into the round below that we've missed a stitch in. Pull that chain back up again, and then 2 more single crochets around that chain, 1 and 2. So basically you're not going to do anything with the popcorn. You're going to skip that. Just around these chains you're going to do 2 single crochets. I'll show you, hang on. 2 single crochets, 1 long double crochet, and 2 single crochets next to it, and you're going to do that in each one of these spaces. So if you pause it here and do that, I will meet you when we're back round here ready for round 4. So you should have gone all the way around doing the 2 singles, 1 long double, and 2 singles in each one of those chain spaces. And when you get to here, you just need to join to that very first single crochet that you did with a slip stitch there. I'm just going to join from there, and this time we're carrying on in white, so we don't need to trim our yarn. Okay, just give myself some more there. So we're now going to create the petals, and the petals are going to sit kind of on top of where these double crochets are. They're going to arch over there. So first of all, you're going to chain 1, then you're going to skip 2 stitches. Now the first of the 2 stitches that you skip is the one you've joined in with the slip stitch. So you're going to skip that one, you're going to skip that one. So you're aiming for here, which is essentially the stitch that is the double crochet, the longer stitch from the round before. So in here you're now going to place 9 double crochets all in the same stitch. So there's 1, 2, remembering that a double crochet is a treble in the UK, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I didn't put my yarn over there. 7, 8, and last one, 9. Now it's going to make that sort of hole a bit bigger because you put so much in it, but you can see how, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, see how it arches over there. So you're now going to skip the next stitch, which is that one there, and you're aiming for this one just to anchor this, sort of anchor this scallop stitch down. So you're going for there, and you're just going to place a slip stitch in there. So you can see you've completely arched over, and that it's at the top of that double crochet from the previous round that you're working all those stitches. So all these little holes should end up being above that long stitch there, and actually they do look quite decorative, the little holes, once you've got them all. And if you do, obviously hopefully they're all in the same place all the way around. So from here you're going to do exactly the same again. Chain 1 to start, then you're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and then you're aiming for this one. Like I say, it's the top of that long double crochet there, and in here is where you're going to place your 9 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, need some more yarn, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more is 9, and 9. Okay, let's pop that down again. You can see how it's creating those arches there. So like we did before, you skip 1 stitch, which is the one that's really close next to it. It's going to get really tied up there because that one's so big, it's going to pinch a bit of space from that one. So this is one after we skipped, we're just going to do a slip stitch into there, and then you're going to chain 1, skip 2 stitches, so you'd aim for here, and do another 9 double crochets in there. So you'll do that all the way around until you get back to here, and I will meet you back there. So pause it here, skip 2 stitches, 9 double crochets in the top of the DC from the previous round, skip 1 stitch and anchor it down with a slip stitch. Okay, I will meet you round here. So I've now completed all my 8 petals. Make sure you do have 8. It's quite easy to get it wrong and to put an extra one in or something. So I'm now just going to anchor for my last one. So I'm going to skip that stitch and put my last slip stitch in here, and then not going to trim the yarn just yet. Now this is how you're going to convert it from a flower into a granny square, and we're going to sort of make it so that we can put a granny square over the top. So you're going to stick like this, and you're going to keep the front of the flower facing you, but at the same time you're going to be working at the back of it. So from here, from where you've joined, just chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but go around the back. So we're not going to pull it over to the front, we're keeping it at the back, and we're going to skip that whole petal out. We're going to leave that, and we're going to find a loop, and you don't have to be particularly precise about this. Pick up our loop somewhere at the back of the petals that are in between, sort of in that dip in between the 2 petals, and just make a slip stitch in there, because we're going to do 8 lots of chain 4s and anchor them in between each petal. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is where we're going to create our next round, which will start to give us a granny square. So I've done another chain 4 of 8. I'm going to pick up a loop somewhere at the back of in between the next 2 petals and just do a little slip stitch there. Chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and again skip the petal, and somewhere at the back there, as long as you're just picking up a loop somewhere rather than going all the way through the flower, it doesn't matter which loop really you pick up, because you can't, as you see, you can't see what I've done there, but these are my chain loops here. So we need a chain 4 and then it anchoring with a slip stitch in between each one. So you're going to just do that between each petal so that you have 8 lots of chain 4 loops ready and available to granny square it on the next round. So I'm going to try and finish this one. It can be quite tricky finding the right loop to put it through, because you don't want one that's going to pull too much either. I'm going to leave it there, pause it here, finish off doing all your chain 4 loops all the way around, and then I'll show you how you can convert this flower into a granny square. Once you've gone all the way around and you've got your 8 chain spaces, you're just going to do your last anchor there, and then you can just fasten off. So trim your yarn, make a chain and pull it all the way through, and then we're ready to make it into a granny square. So to do that, I'm going to use this colour again, but you can use whatever colour you want. And if you are you're okay au fait with granny squares already, this one should be fairly self-explanatory once you get going. So again, I always put a slip knot on my hook to get started. You don't have to do that, you join however you want, and you're going to join to any one of these chain 3 spaces. You'll notice that I've still got the front of the flower working towards me. You can move that around if you want. You can work at the back if you prefer. It's up to you how you do it. I prefer to have it facing me at this point. So I'm going to join and chain 3, which counts as a double, which is a treble in the UK. It counts as one of those stitches. And then I'm going to put 2 doubles next to it. And then I'm going to do my first granny square corner. So I'm going to chain 2, and then all back in around that very same chain 4, I'm going to do another 3 doubles next to it. So if you are someone who knows granny squares already, this should start making some sense very soon. So I've done, as you can see there, a granny square corner. So in my next chain space along, I'm going to move straight to it, and I'm just going to put 3 double crochets in there. So 1, 2 and 3. We've got 8 of these chain 4 spaces in total, so we're going to have 4 corner ones and 4 side spaces, and we're going to alternate. So that's a corner stitch, there's a side stitch. So in the next one, we're going to move straight to it without doing anything in between before you get there. Give myself some more yarn, and we're going to place 3 double crochets, and then a chain 2, and then another 3 double crochets in that one, and you'll see it now start to square off. So 3 doubles, a chain 2 and 3 doubles in there, and you can see it starting to look sort of granny square-esque. So then my next one is going to be 3 doubles. That's a side space or a side stitch. And then I've done my 3 in there, so I go to my next one, and this next one is give myself some more yarn there, a corner one, so 3 doubles, a chain 2 and 3 doubles all in that one. I'll show you in a second what the back of this looks like once we've got all the way around. We're nearly there. 2 and 3. So there you go, there's another 3, chain 2 and 3. In the next space, it's another 3, and then we've got one more set of both to do before we're back all the way around. 1 and 2 and 3, and then in the final, got one final corner space to go. so, or corner stitch to do. So that's 3 doubles, a chain 2 and 3 doubles. Don't forget, you can slow this video down if you need to. Appreciate that I am probably crocheting faster than some of you can or do, especially when you're watching something at the same time. You can't keep the same speed. Slow it down if you need to. So there, and then I've got 1 space left, which is a 3 doubles side space there. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to join to the top of that stitch there. So it's the original chain 3, you're going to join to that 3rd chain. So I'm just going to pull out, let's just square it off and flatten everything out, because it's a bit hidden this round. It's a little bit hidden by the flower itself. If we turn it over, you should be able to see how it's become a square. So from now on you would continue to add granny square rounds. Now there's 2 ways of continuing from here. You can slip stitch if you're not changing colour anyway. If you're staying in the same colour, you can slip stitch under the top of the stitches of the next cluster that you're into, so you get to this corner and then slip stitch to the corner that way, and then from here you would start the next round. Or let me just rejoin there. Once you've joined, if you don't want to slip stitch to the corner, the other alternative is to turn your work so you then have the other side facing you. Do your chain 3 and then go straight into this, and you'll start it from here. So there's 2 ways to carry on now to keep adding rounds, and I will link a regular granny square video here if you're not quite sure how to do that. But if you are, you can just carry on from here, adding rounds till the square is as big as you want. You can put a row of or a round of single crochet on once you've finished your granny squaring, just to finish it off, depending on what you're making your squares for. But they are particularly pretty when mounted onto the square like that, to give it a 3D look. So there you have it. There is the 3D crochet granny square, or 3D flower granny square. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do give me a subscribe, a like and a comment. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon for another crochet pattern from Freddie Loves Crochet.